I've always been passionate about environmental conservation, and especially having grown up in the most beautiful forests in Kenya. And this is a region that is actually the most forested. It's called Nyeri County. And my childhood memories include having spent a lot of time close to clean streams and close to beautiful forests. And gave me this natural connection with nature. And I remember a time when I also witnessed ecological grief, where trees that my friends and I had planted as children were cut down. I went into this forest and all I could find were tree logs and tree stumps, and this made me feel so angry. And since then, it then became a personal fight, a personal with nature, and it also became something that I always love to do each and every day. So I decided to found the Green Generation Initiative to nurture young people to love nature and to be environmentally conscious at a young age, because I do believe it's that connection with nature that made me love nature, and in the process made me always be on the front line to protect nature. And this initiative focuses on creating a generation of environmentally conscious individuals, because at the end of the day, it's about the collective actions of every individual right now that are going to help us shape this for the better. Last year, during one of the Fridays for Future climate strikes, I held this poster where I had written down, "The climate is changing, why aren't we?" And I held this poster in Nairobi City. And this is because of the many years of inaction that we have continued to see. A lot of young people like myself have continued to demand for urgent and bold climate action from the leaders. But yet much of the needed change and actions that we want to see seem to be nowhere in the horizon. And so I wrote this poster because I began to witness a lot of the climate change impact in my own country. People were dying and losing their lives as a result of the floods, mudslides, and landslides that were affecting different parts of the country. I care about how my actions will impact the next generations. But yet, as the human race, we are not doing what is supposed to be done of us to be reduce, or rather to be able to tackle this crisis and reduce these impacts from the people that are the most affected. Just because the climate crisis is not happening where you are, it doesn't mean that it's not happening at all. There are people that have to deal with the worst impacts of this crisis every day. And for that reason, we also need to change and begin to take urgent action. And the other aspect is the piece of nature. Nature has to be at the center of climate conversations, and that has not happened for a long time. And this is because the discussions about tackling the climate crisis have only a lot of times been centering around reducing carbon emissions. For us to stay within the 1.5 degrees Celsius, we also need to preserve every bit of remaining ecosystems, and they have to stay intact, and as well as continue with nature regeneration efforts, and also make sure that our cities are green, clean, and resilient. I would want an Africa where people do not have to deal with the worst impacts of climate change, an Africa that is resilient, an African continent where everybody can be able to afford and have a decent meal every day, and also a continent where have equal access to green spaces, equal access to clean drinking water as well, and an African continent whereby people will not have to really struggle in life in terms of the incomes, and in terms of the fact that we see every day women who have to walk for long distances to look for water and food for their families, and that should not happen. We need to show global solidarities to continents like Africa to make sure that climate change adaptation and mitigation is at the center of the climate conversations as well.